On the surface to be normal, but the undercurrents are still very, very hot. It's unpredictable.
Maintaining the security come at a very high cost.
From 2012 to date, we have spent not less than 100,000 cedis on just feeding security and also the provision of fuel and lubricants.
Businesses are collapsing.
300,000. Utumi bakura 250. Utumi bakura 200. Fremi ba 100. 2 will be 30.
A chieftaincy conflict in this town is the cause of this. Interveners are struggling to bring the sides together.
From yesterday and today, the high level of mistrust, and that is what is making the parties not able to engage each other in dialogue.
Children are suffering the brunt. Deadly violence in Bimbilla is not new, especially to the elderly in this town. Many of them still have fresh memories of the 1994 Kokomba-Nanumba War, which was nicknamed the Guinea Fowl War. It is by far one of the worst conflicts recorded in Ghana. According to some historians, that war claimed about 2,000 lives, displaced at least 200,000 people, and completely destroyed 441 villages. Bimbilla and its surrounding villages have never been the same since that major conflict. Though there have been more conflict, also deadly, they come no close to the Guinea Fowl War. Recent disturbances in Bimbilla started after the death of the king of Bimbilla, Na Abarikata, in 1999. A struggle between two families, the Nakpana and the Dasana families from the same Bumayili gate over who becomes the next king, became a big issue. Spokesperson for the Nakpana, Abu Hassan Idrisu, says the kingmakers mistakenly settled on the former chief executive of Onasia Rice and Dani Dasana Abdullahi, and that triggered the conflict.
All these titles are good titles that he was possessing in Tamale, but they were not titles of Bimbilla now in Nanumba Kingdom. So he wasn't in the queue at all. Then other kingmakers went behind this leader and held him up as a chief.
So that is the genesis.
And that brought about the genesis of the today conflict at hand.
The Patihina Azindo Nangtongma, who speaks for the Dasana family, however, argues the kingmakers did no wrong making their son the king of Bimbilla.
Karkuna kanalelgula ambolle incha kayanam tenirba we the kayanam manirba we ko bolti chanalel no tamalle.
After the Supreme Court has striked it out as withdrawn, the Naleru chief invited the 9 kingmakers to Naleru to delve into the matter. And
I am being led to another place where a widow and her children live. It is a compound house. This is where 33-year-old mother of 3, Adisa Al-Hassan, lives. Her husband was killed in the conflict. Adisa was 9 months pregnant when her husband was shot and killed right in her presence.
They said there is violence in town, but he was working on the garden. Then there was a gunshot and we ran into the room. Then they come and attack us. They pulled him out of the room and destroyed the house and killed him.
Those who did not die would have to live with one disability or health condition or the other after suffering serious gunshot wounds. Ibrahim Tijani is one of them.
We were there passing through the window when the guy shot my junior brother. So I rushed to pick my junior brother. He shot himself. So
which part were you shot?
My stomach. It was past my stomach here, so they didn't open it. You see here. You see my leg. Even though my stomach here.
And how many years ago?
No, it's 5 months now.
5 months?
Yeah. It's 5 months now.
So how did you survive?
There is a police bus come and pick me. I was lying down over there when they came and picked me.
I guess you want more of that. You'll get it tonight, 6:30 p.m. here on the Joy News channel on Multi TV. But let's quickly speak to the 2014 Journalist of the Year, Seth Kwame Boateng. He put together this fascinating documentary. Seth, for the work you've done in this documentary, what are we supposed to see after watching this?
Well, we're supposed to understand the untold stories behind the conflict and what the people are losing as a result of the conflict. We will also get to know how education is being affected and children don't have the peace of mind to study. We're also going to see how businesses are collapsing because of this conflict. You know, there is 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew, and Bimbilla hitherto was a business hub. People traveling from Tamale, Yendi, and all those areas could stay or spend the night in Bimbilla and continue their journey. You understand? But because of the situation there, they can't do any of these. If you want to travel to Tamale, maybe from Bimbilla, and you have plans of coming back to Bimbilla, you can only spend 30 minutes in Tamale and return. Because if you go beyond 30 minutes in Tamale, you may not get any car to bring you back to Bimbilla. And in case you don't get any car to bring you back to Bimbilla, you have to stay in other villages, because at 6 p.m. or they close the roads, they close barriers. No, you can't. And you have to spend the night. So in this documentary, we're going to again see how people suffer when they're unable to pass through Bimbilla before 6. And you will see children who stay in the cold overnight till 6 a.m. With their parents before they can continue their journey.
Kwame, the excerpt you showed us was one of a lady, a 33-year-old lady, who actually saw the husband shot.
Exactly.
Right before her very eyes.
She was 9 months pregnant, and a week after the incident, she delivered. So the baby you saw on her lap was the one who was in the tummy, you understand? And it's pathetic the way she described it. She was there with the husband, and the killers came, brought him out, and just killed him.
How are the children taking this?
No, the woman is yet, they have been asking of the whereabouts of their father. The woman is here to explain to them about what has happened. But you again hear why a psychologist is advising that she tells them now,
rather than wait
till later, that she informs them. So we look at all the issues. We also look at how interveners are struggling to bring the two parties together. And I'm believing that after this documentary, the people will realize what is happening in Bimbilla. Usually, when in the heat of situations like this, they seem not to appreciate what goes on. You understand? Until somebody comes to tell them the story, what is happening, for them to really appreciate the fact that they are losing a lot, and that it's not even necessary to kill one or to kill your friend or your brother because of a scheme. Okay. Now, one thing I just want us to talk about before we give people the opportunity to watch this tonight is this. Ordinarily, when these conflicts happen, you see the security agencies having a very arduous task of ensuring that peace is maintained in such an area. How have they been able to manage this in Bimbilla? It's not been easy for them, and they always get reinforcement from Tamale and other areas. Already, the assembly has spent over 100,000 cedis feeding the security and fueling their vehicles. And you heard the police commander there tell me that when you get to Bimbilla, you might think everything is okay. But there are other issues which are not manifesting. And I think they are being professional. And it's not easy for them because, again, in Bimbilla today, they use highly sophisticated weapons. You understand? Retrieving them is difficult. Where do they get them from? Well, there are parties, there are people who have interest in the conflict, so they will definitely supply them weapons. You may go to a brother that you need money to pay your school fees. He will say, no, I don't have money. But tell that brother that you've heard that the other side is planning to attack. So they should send you money for guns, bullets, and other things. And they will do that. They will not waste time. It's amazing. I just hope that with this documentary set, we are able to get some closure on this matter like we've seen in other places. I also, the people are highly expectant. I've been getting calls, and as you speak, the people of Bimbilla are watching. And the information I have is that they are closing early today. Though the curfew starts at 6, they are closing early today
so they go home and relax and watch this documentary. I've been getting a lot of calls from Bimbilla since last week. People wait anxiously to watch this documentary.
Okay, so many of us are expecting this. So you have to tonight, after watching the show and watching today's big story at 6 o'clock, at 6:30, just sit down, watch today's Hotline documentary for you, Bullets or the Skin.
That's the part 1 today, part 2 tomorrow,
exactly.
Same time.
So part 1 comes off today, the part 2 will come off tomorrow. Don't miss it. But thank you, Seth, for sharing those details with us here on the program. At this point, we'll go for a break. When we come back, talk of the military in some trouble with the family. Details after the break.
Well, I think journalism should be used to promote peace, should be used to educate the public, especially those who cannot read and write. I'm talking about the radio media, the television and the others.
Actually, it's used general for the whole country. And then it makes people know much about what is going on. For instance, as you are interviewing me, it's good. So I think it's good.
What do I think journalism should be used for? I think